I feel like the vertical drama business has just been waiting there for a while. But so much of it, of course, has really come from behaviors that were created in Asia. Grace, what do you see in terms of either the transliteration or sort of the transfer of some of this IP into the American market? Number one, and sort of adjacent to that is the U.S. Doing Me Too? Is it too late, or are we just in such early days that it doesn't matter?
I think it all goes back to the monetization model that could be enhanced over time, right? So, as we all know, microdrama came from China as a new medium, and there's about a 3 to 5 year time lag out here in the US market. And if you want to see where this industry is going, it's easy to just forecast from what is happening in China at the moment. So we can tell 3 to 5 years down the road what we could achieve. And branded content collaboration has been happening since 2021 out there. As soon as microdrama became a main consuming medium for the audience. What I see the benefit of that is kind of like expanding your audience base when you get to the point of wanting to like open new territories for your demographics or brand if you ever reach to that point as a platform or independent producer, but or playing along with the same branding direction to further enhance, like say real short Midland feels very consistent on the same group of people they're targeting. So then the benefit is also bringing in different sides of investment coming from the commercial and branding side of the business outside of traditional film and TV to kind of elevate the value of this medium altogether. And where we have observed not only from commercial, but also getting more tech sector or even educational sector of people who care about this newly formed aspect ratio of storytelling to commission and sponsor more materials and distribute it to the existing platforms could be a way to play that as well. And then talking about introducing IP from international space, we all know microdrama started off localizing and translating from hit shows or hit materials from China. That is the very first step, the first, method to go from 1 to 10. We have to achieve, to have the volume first in a new platform and then talk about quality. So quantity first and then quality. And we're at this tipping point here in the States. The volume has already been established for the top performers like Good Shore, Real Shore Drama Box out there. And the newly founded domestic platforms are still playing the volumes game as we observed. So we just have to really see where the cusp is at for them to experiment into quality or novelty side of the business. And that's where we can get different genres in or different types of creatives into the space at the
Which
same
is
time.
very exciting. But just to stay with you for a second, Netflix and YouTube are as they begin adding things like shorts or short drama tabs. How does a real short or a drama box survive this sort of convergence crisis where giant platforms might eat their niche, or do they? So, what do you think?
I, first of all, I feel like Karina might have interesting to say around this, but my read on that is they do not serve as the same function at all. Netflix did not need to acquire more user from people who are already subscribing to it by on the phone. And then the microdrama space of apps, they started off acquiring user first. That was their first step. And they reversely built where the content strategy is going for them to enrich and enhance the material on the app itself. So I do not think they're conflicting, but it is a really good sign that these bigger streamers are looking into the format. It means like, okay, everyone one day will be consuming it on the mobile in the same way that Tom has been dealing with for years already.